Hi Sycamore class, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to do some of our multiplication methods. So what I've done is I've started with one like this. It's a 4-digit number, 3,724 times 3. We're going to multiply this one out. Now if you remember when we do addition and subtraction, we start with the units, and that's exactly what we do with multiplication as well, because as it gets bigger we'll have more and more to add to it. So we're going to start with 4 times 3, and 4 times 3 is 12. Now we can put that 2 into the ones column. It can stay there. But our 10, we don't want to put it in here yet because I know I might have more coming. So I'm going to pop my 10 down there in the tens column underneath there so I don't forget it, like we do in addition when we're carrying numbers over. Now we're going to do 2 times 2. It's actually 2 times 20, but because we're doing our multiplication method like this and we know it's in the tens column, we can use 3 times 2 as our thinking. So we'll do 3 times 2 or 3 times 20, which is 6. And we're going to add our 1 in there as well. So actually it becomes 7 or 70. Now we're going to move on to the hundreds column and we're going to do 3 times 7 hundreds. 3 times 7 hundreds is 21 hundreds. Got nothing else to add here, so my 1 can go down there. Now my 2, again, I've got more up here, so I'm just going to pop my 2 down there nice and small. Now I can do 3 times 3 thousands. So 3 times 3,000 is 9 thousands. But I've got my 2 here, so it actually makes 11 thousands. So this time I can put my 1 for my 11 in there. Because I don't have anything left, I can also place my 10 thousands in there too. And I have found my answer. My answer is 11,172. Now, when we get to slightly bigger numbers that we're multiplying, so here you can see I've changed to a 2-digit number and it gets slightly more complicated, but nothing we can't handle. So we're going to have a go at this. And you can see, because 13 is a bigger number, it's not in our times tables that we learn, I've actually split it into 3, which is the times table we learn, and tens, which is the times table we learn very early. So we're going to start with our 3's first. We're going to do 3 times 6, and that's 18. So I'm going to put my 8 there. And remember my ones, I was putting them down here, but I'm actually going to hide it up here, nice and small, so I can get rid of it later, but I haven't forgotten it. Now we're going to do 3 times 8. Now 3 times 8 is my favourite number, is 24, but I've got my extra 1 here, and I'm going to turn that into 25. You can see I've just crossed out the 1 there so I don't get confused later on. Now my 2 hundreds if you like, are going to sit in the hundreds column there waiting for me. Now I'm going to do 3 times 4 hundreds, which is 12 hundreds, and I'm going to add in my 2, which gives us 14 hundreds. I can put it straight in there because it's not in the way and I won't have any more coming. And now I move on to multiplying by 10. Now we know, don't we, remember us linking arms and moving along the classroom, it all moves along place value. Each digit moves along the columns. When we get 10 times bigger, it moves up 1 column. So I know that I'm going to have an empty column there. So I'm going to put a 0 in there now. Now I can just think about my timesing by this number here, and it's 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 8, 8, and 1 times 4 are 4. And you can see all the digits have moved up. They've stayed together. They've just moved up place value. My last job to put this calculation together is to add up our 2 answers to get the final answer. So 8 add 0 is 8. 5 add 6 is 11. I'm going to put my 1 in there and a little 1 down there so I don't forget it. 4 add 8 is 12. Add the 1 is 13. So my 3 goes in there and 1 goes underneath. And then 4 add 1 is 5. Add the 1 is 6. Let's write that correctly. There you go. So we've got our answer, 6,118. Now, it gets slightly more complicated when we start multiplying by bigger numbers, bigger multiples of 10. You can see that this was the same number. We had 486 times 13 before, and now it's 486 times 23. So I've kept my timesing by 3 in there. It doesn't need to change. But we can look in a bit more detail at our timesing by 20. Because it's still a multiple of 10, I'm going to end with a 0 in there because it's still going to move up one column in place value. So now I've dealt with timesing by the 10, I can now think about timesing by my 2 as the part of 20. So I'm going to do 2 times 6, and that's 12. My 2 can go in there exactly like we were before. My 2 can go in there, my 1 can go underneath. Then we can do 2 times 8, which is 16. And I'm going to add in my 1, so it actually makes 17. Put my little 1 down there. And now I do 2 times 4, which is 8, but not forgetting my little 1 here, so I'm going to make that 9. And then exactly like we did before, we're going to simply add up the numbers. So it's 8 add 0, 5 add 2 is 7, 4 add 7 is 11, so I'm going to pop that one underneath there. 9 add 1 is 10, add the other one is 11. So there we have 11,708 as our answer. Have a go at some of these methods, decide which one you need to work on, and check them. Don't forget to check them with a calculator regularly. Well done, Sycamore class.